Welcome to Healthy Skeptics, where we take a no-B.S. approach to holistic health.
We're a mother-daughter duo who believe in redefining health by going beyond rigid protocols, detox fads, and restricted diets.
Here, we dig deep into root causes, challenging traditional and holistic medicine, and talk about what really works in today's world to help you feel your best.
Join us as we sift through the noise, tackle myths, and offer real insights into holistic health with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Hello! Welcome to another episode of Healthy Skeptics. So we're going to do our health trend of the month.
Yeah.
And this one actually came about. I have friends that are always asking me questions, and we're getting sent...
Obviously you have friends.
No, that are asking me questions. But also we get sent a lot of videos via Instagram and constant, like, is this true? Should I look into this? What is this? And so I have just like an arsenal of things to choose from.
Even my husband sends me things.
Oh yeah, constantly.
Like, oh my God.
Is this real?
Is this for real?
The answer is almost always no. But this one was interesting today, and you have some like background with this. So I think this is cool. So this actually came from one of my friends had sent me a reel about phototherapy.
Photobio. What is it?
Patching. Patching phototherapy. We're just going to shorten it. So it's patching. I think patching is like the verb that people are using.
Yes.
That's
because you take the patch and put it on.
And phototherapy being what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
light therapy. We
wanted to talk about it. Like, is it a scam? Is there truth to it? Right. What's going on? FDR. Oh my gosh.
RFK. FDR's
He's
dead.
Yeah, I don't even know the last time I would have had a conversation about FDR where that
would pop out of your mouth. Yeah.
RFK is, where's the patch? Whatever. So there's lots of talk about it, but we actually heard about patching years ago.
Yes. Yeah, like probably 2 or 3 years ago now that I seriously looked into it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, seriously,
so
I really was looking at getting it and trying it out. Not for myself, but for...
for you to start, right? But for clients.
Well, for clients, but I actually was thinking about it for, a person close to me.
Yeah.
That needed some help. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to try this I was going to try it for pain, which is how the whole thing started. And
so we're going to just we're going to tell you all of the things about it and get into it. So we'll go through the science, and I'm going to put that in quotation marks. We'll go through the science. We'll go through some of the CEO's claims.
Of the biggest company.
Yeah.
We're just going to, I mean, there are lots of knockoffs, I guess. But I think LifeWave is the biggest company, and I think that they were the first.
Yeah.
They were the first out there. They were the first to bring this to market.
We're going to talk about him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also just, I think the MLM aspect is important to discuss. So the multi-level marketing, which if you don't know what that is, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, if y'all are listening, you're like, what the heck is patching or phototherapy?
I'm going to read the actual verbiage.
Great.
Here. Okay. So this is the claim for patching, which it is small adhesive patches infused with nanocrystals or, quote, proprietary technology that interact with body heat and light to trigger biochemical processes.
So when you hear about patching, what people will say is you don't need an outside light, like an additional light source. It just takes light from the environment and utilizes that through the patented technology that's inside this patch, these nanocrystals.
Right.
And so we've talked a lot, and in the health space, there's a lot of actual scientific backing behind things like red light therapy or UV therapy, like actual light therapy where you're
utilizing light waves to affect a change.
This is not that.
No.
So this is saying that it's your body heat and just light waves that are in your environment, but it's nothing you have to add to your body. If there's no additional anything that you have to do besides put the patch on.
And what you'll hear is, it's taking the energy from your body.
I love quotation.
I know. If you can't see us if you're just listening, but we're going to air quote a lot today. But it's taking the energy from your body that your body naturally produces, which is your body heat.
Yes.
But it's taking energy. They don't say body heat; they say energy. And they say, because it's like they want to make it feel, well, yes, because,
when you think about, feel like some kind of spiritual awakening.
Correct.
But it's, they're really talking about body heat. So yes, the actual,
right.
heat to your body.
Right. Yeah. So some of the claims, and these are kind of the big four, or two or three, I guess. I don't know. But the big, so where they started was pain. Then it went into, we can change hormones. Then it went into it's anti-aging, because anti-aging is a big thing. And so they are genius at marketing, genius marketers. Holy cow.
So are all of these product companies.
Yes, I know, but I'm just saying. So they activate stem cells, which
that's the big claim.
The big claim is they activate stem cells. Now, why that's important is a stem cell is an undifferentiated cell, meaning it can become anything. So when you think about like stem cell therapies, people will inject stem cells into different, like knees, for example. I've, got cartilage that's damaged, or my knee is, in some way damaged. So I'll inject stem cells behind the kneecap in order to grow more cartilage or whatever the damage is. And so because a stem cell can become whatever its environment tells it to be. So
if you're lacking something in the body, to stimulate or activate stem cells would be very beneficial to healing in any part of the body that needs more resources.
And we generate these.
Yeah.
And we when you reach a certain age, by your age, mid-30s, they start to decline, but in production. But when you're very young, you have a lot of them, because you're going through lots of growth and lots of change. So anyway, so that's a short tutorial.
But you can think about too, like cellular repair,
right?
Cellular turnover, when people talk about autophagy or cancer or those types of things, stem cells are very beneficial to us.
Yeah.
In that aspect.
Yes.
Okay, short. This isn't a podcast about stem cells.
No.
But
although it could be. But anyway, that'd be that'd be a long one. Pain and inflammation, like I said, that was one of the early things was pain and inflammation. That a lot of people use it for that. Testosterone and energy. That was a big one. And we'll get into why that became a big one. And then anti-aging. Yeah. So those are the big things. The big claims for these things, which, holy cow, like if there was this little patch that I could pay $100 a month for or more.
I think it's about $99.
Well, it is for the basic one. They have they do have levels. I think they have like 6 now.
Shocking. Shocker.
Yeah. So
okay. So
what I love is we were doing some research and something came up and it said nanocrystals make it sound really cool, not fancy sticker. I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
But yeah, I mean, that's it.
I know.
Yeah, if you can put a fun term to it. But
yeah.
Okay, so let's go through the science.
Or lack
thereof science. And I think when we talk about, when we're talking about using light therapy, so phototherapy, again, red light therapy, infrared therapy, there's actual well-researched benefits for specific things with light therapy. Same with like UV therapy, for eczema or psoriasis. Like there's well-researched.
Vitamin D synthesis.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So what we found when you actually dive into LifeWave or any of the other companies doing phototherapy, there is some scientific research that has been done to support their claims. However, the scientific studies have all been conducted by the companies themselves. And from a science standpoint,
from a study standpoint,
from like a research standpoint, this is a huge conflict of interest.
Right.
Like this is like what we try to avoid when you're doing proper scientific research. This big conflict of interest where the gain that they're going to get from the research study going their way because it was funded by
The
the company. That's it to me. Red flag.
But that's something, I mean, just as an aside, if you're looking at researching anything with scientific, again, air quotes, scientific studies, that's one of the things you need to look at is,
Who funded
the study.
Yeah.
Because, conflict of interest at a very basic level.
Yes. But they also lacked peer review.
Yeah.
They lacked like variables or a control or independent replication, like any of the things that you want from a scientific study. There wasn't any of that.
No, and then another thing to look at, and again, in any time you're doing any kind of research, is sample size. How many people are actually in the study? Because, if you have a study sample of 1 and you get a positive, well, that's 100%. We had 100% on that one.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that, you're really digging a little bit deeper than the surface when someone says, I've got a research behind, this is research backed. So you want to make sure that they're looking at that.
So at this point, we're assuming placebo effect for most of the changes that you're going to witness, or the anecdotal stories that they're going to use to support their claims, which is a big one for MLMs, which we'll talk about in a second. Mm-hmm. But at this point, there's no scientific evidence, real scientific evidence that reflecting light back into your body somehow changes things.
Right. And there
doesn't exist.
I was going to say, right. And when we talked about the study that they conducted, it was for a specific thing, and it was for testosterone and mitochondrial production and energy production. And so and again, small sample size done by the company, no peer review, no independent review.
Yeah.
So gosh, they could have made the whole thing up and no one would ever know. Not replicable. All of those things. So they take that and then they say, we have research backed, scientific proof that our patches work. Well, it was really only one of the patches. It was only
one of the patches. It was, again, small sample size, all the things. So that was the main one.
Yeah.
So, let's talk a little bit about LifeWave here as a company.
So here's the thing. I am not kidding you. I watched every single video because, like I said, I was so interested in this because I like technology. I like new things.
And this guy the CEO of LifeWave, he was an inventor.
He since he was little.
That's his thing. He's not a business guy. He was an inventor. Not no medical background.
No.
But in technology and invention. So different spin makes them interesting.
It does make him interesting. But the other thing that I enjoyed was he comes out and says he's a Christian. Everything is about God gave us this body. God gave us, this light. All these things. I mean, it sucks you in for a minute. I watched 3 years worth of videos. I'm not kidding. Of all of their marketing videos when they had all the big guys come out and talk about their new products, all the way down. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you the reason. Probably going to get into it in a minute. Should I finish? Should we finish talking about him?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay. There's a reason why I got into it, and we'll get to that.
No, just say it.
Oh, just say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a video out there, well, many now, but that shows a person putting a patch on a horse's hindquarters. Mm-hmm. This horse was lame, was having difficulty walking, and they put the patch in a couple of different places on the horse's leg, hindquarter, and on down, and the horse walked perfect. And I went, okay, now you've got my interest. This looks legit because an animal doesn't have a placebo effect.
Because you can't tell the animal, this is what it's going to do.
Yeah. Right. So that's what got me down the path of watching literally 2 or 3 years of marketing videos from this company.
You mean time spent? You didn't watch it for 2 years?
No, I mean, I watched their videos, 2 or 3 years of their produced videos.
Oh, going back.
Yeah, I didn't spend 2 or 3 years doing this.
What are you talking about? 2 or 3 years?
No, I probably spent a couple of weeks. Okay. Just any spare time I had, I'd flip up a video.
And now, part of the reason I think you were researching so hard was because this was a network marketing company.
Yes, it was an MLM.
So when the person reached out to you,
yep,
to like, hey, are you interested? She was a veterinarian, which
yes.
again, that's
my
the
interest.
connection
Yep.
to, you know, her seeing these results in animals.
Yes.
Then coming to you as a doctor, I mean, like, hey,
yes.
here's where we're going with this. Okay. Yeah. Beginnings of the company, getting on the ground floor, the whole thing.
Yes.
Now, when an MLM is presented in this family, little antennas,
big red flags go up. We won't say why.
100% of the time, it's a big fat no, because just from an ethical standpoint,
yes,
of the way that MLMs target people in order to make their sales, to me is unethical. Yeah. And I also do not appreciate, and there's a lot of MLMs that use the Christian banner.
Mm-hmm.
And I also I think that's manipulative.
Yes.
And it's like pulling on somebody's value system to like, oh, well, they're not going to screw me over because it's a
Correct.
Christian company.
Correct.
When in reality, most MLMs or these companies, they're selling the product at a much higher rate or than price point
mm-hmm.
than like somebody else on the market that has essentially the exact same
because
product.
They have to pay the person who's selling it.
Exactly. They have to pay the people.
Commission.
Yes. So the price point, they gouge you on price. They're also targeting vulnerable people. They're going, oh, it's your business, it's a side business, flexibility. It's a lot of stay-at-home moms that just want to support their family or single parents or whatever that need the flexibility. And they're targeting very vulnerable people and saying it's their business. It's not your business.
Yeah, it's not your business.
You're a glorified salesperson. And if that company, which we saw it happen, we've seen it happen. What Body, do you know that company, that MLM recently? They just decided to shut down and they're like, sorry guys.
Oh,
huge. You mean company? The workout? It was a workout.
It was a workout one. I was going to say the beauty counter shut down.
Yeah, it's like that's not your business.
No, it's not your business.
So there's that, and then on top of it, very few people actually make money.
Yeah, almost every MLM across the board.
Most people lose money.
Yes,
because you're investing in the products up front and then selling them back. Now, some people have changed that model, but still, you know. Whatever. I just think there's a lot of bad practices with MLM. So again, you have this new technology and they're like, listen, the best way to do it is to get in front of people and network marketing. And it just takes, you know, whatever the claim is of like, it's just advertising for the company and it's great. And it's like, okay, yeah, what so?
But anyway,
sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, we covered MLMs, so hopefully you guys got that part. I was just going to go back to talking a little bit about the founder, and another reason why it's so compelling is he, for lack of a better word, he stretches the truth, or I could say lie, about his background. He comes out and he says he developed this technology with NASA for the U.S. Navy.
Yeah, for Navy SEALs.
For Navy SEALs to enhance their performance. And I was like, wow, you know, so again, right? I got this animal over here, and this was like, okay, animal. And then this guy over here who says he's a Christian and the military. I mean, you got two of my big so it's like big heartstrings on those two. Like I'm all about those two things, right? So that is false. First
there's
of all.
no if you go look it up. You could Google it.
Yeah.
But there is no
NASA-funded researches. The military never used his product.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just kind of like
he's making a lot of false claims.
He is making a lot of false claims. So that was kind of, you know, another thing of doing the research on this product. So anyway.
Yeah. So moving on from that. So the company in and of itself, the founder, the inventor, the MLM process. So if we go into really the claims, so if you're like, okay, but they are working on the animals, like, yeah, what's happening then? Like, it's got to be something if it's not placebo. But at the end of the day, like,
well, the person that got me going into this too, she does use a lot of alternative therapies for animals.
Mm-hmm.
She does acupuncture, acupressure. She has beamer mats for her horses. She uses a lot of alternative things. But the thing is with animals they're very sensitive to touch.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked back at the video, the one that I watched that kind of caught my interest. I'm watching the guy, and he's actually what I think is hitting trigger points on the animal, versus the patch. Now the video will go, I'll put the patch on, the horse walks, I take the patch off, now the horse is not doing a good job. And so again, you're caught in this mode, but I do think that there's almost sleight of hand going on. It's almost like a magician, right? I think that when he's putting it on, there are certain trigger points that people that, know these things well, because I do think that, chiropractic for animals work just like chiropractic works for humans, and all those kinds of things. Like there are body connections.
Yes, and if you touch, there's muscle reflex.
Yes, exactly. So I think that that's a little bit of what's happening in that video.
But there, and just to be clear, again, there's no veterinary studies.
Yes.
None. Not
Not
one. And here in my thing where I'm like, if it's such an amazing product that works so well and it's animals, why wouldn't we do more research with it?
I know.
But not one study from a veterinarian?
Honest to goodness, well, you would think about it from a vet school, right? Like if I'm a student in any medical profession,
no peer-reviewed studies.
Yeah.
That should be.
But I'm just saying, I'm a student. Everybody has to do a freaking project. It's like I'd be looking at this, going, I'm going to do the project on this. Like this would be really interesting to see if it's really real. Nothing. You cannot find independent anything, or peer-reviewed, or any veterinarian school looking into doing energy patching, light patching, phototherapy.
So I'm curious okay, so now you're like weeks in and you're researching and so what was when were you like, no?
Well, then I just started doing, I know a fair amount about stem cells.
Okay.
I was a part of a group in the forefront of actually using stem cells for, like I said, fixing knees, things like that. We used them for many different reasons. And so I knew a little bit about stem cells. So then I started going, okay, what I know about stem cells and taking the claims from the company, because like I said, I listened to so much of their information. It just kind of became apparent that there's no physiology connection here. Like there's no way that I can zap you with light and it's going to create stem cells to react.
Because so UVA rays from the actual sun.
Right.
Trigger autophagy in our body.
Yes, that's different.
Trigger cellular repair.
Yeah.
So they can activate stem cell with certain light waves. That is true. What is it about this patching technology? What are they claiming? Is there any information?
No.
It's a crystal.
It's crystals. It's no different than people that believe that crystals hold energy and they, and you can.
So at the end of the day, you get down to it and this is just crystals.
Correct. Yes, I know. If you could see her face right now. Anyway, but yeah, so it was just kind of like this. There's no way. I mean, there's no science. There's no science here.
There's no science in crystals either, by the way.
No, but I did I did a deep dives into, I have access to a lot of databases and I did lots
to find.
Yeah, to try to find anything and I couldn't find anything. Yeah. And so then I just kind of politely said thanks, but no thanks. But the thing you have to realize is that our drug, when we used to manufacture and test drugs, the placebo effect is what a drug is measured against. And so, because it's very strong. I mean, the placebo effect.
It's a real thing.
It is. It's very real.
People think that it's fake because it's placebo, and you're like, no, you're actually getting the actual change, and they may have activated stem cells because someone said this is what's going to happen in your body, and that power of suggestion is massive, and it's why we talk a lot about mindset and talking a certain way and these things
negative thoughts, all those kind of things
are important.
They are important.
So placebo effect, just because it's a placebo, it is real in the sense that you can measure it and there's a change happening in the body.
Well, I did ask, so we can measure inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
And I did ask the person I was talking to, have you ever measured inflammation before and after when you've done work with the animals. Like, have you ever done that?
Yeah.
And no, I never thought of doing that. And it's like, okay, so it's like we do have.
We're going just based off of anecdotal or like, oh, they look
he
like
looks happy.
Which and an animal is just so ridiculous.
I know.
Like we have to be doing testing.
Yeah.
But that's also part of the MLM thing. And when you go into any MLM, like they will tell you to sell based on testimonials.
Yes.
It's huge. Yep. Sell the testimonial, sell the transformation, sell what this person's saying, sell the before and after pictures,
yes.
Like that is how that's their whole sales strategy.
Yeah.
They are not giving you science or if they are giving you research, again, it's like company funded and it's not.
Yeah. It's not.
Real.
Yeah. It's not.
Or
it's not validated.
Or it's not even about the product. Like we see that a lot.
Oh, we do see that a lot, where it's about some small piece of something or
one ingredient in the product.
Exactly.
Oh, like we see this with colostrum a lot. Like there's over 5,000 studies about how colostrum is amazing for you. Yeah, but not one single study about the actual product.
I know. Yeah. So there is that.
So,
but anyway, so we could go through. Why don't we go through things where,
better ways.
If you really wanted to boost your energy, or you want to have better skin, or you want to anti-age.
Well, first we can talk about, light.
Yeah.
Using light.
Yes.
So, like I said earlier, people want to fast and they want to do all this crazy stuff, which is just stressful to the body, and it forces your body into, a biochemical, mechanism that isn't exactly ideal.
No,
say it that way.
Well, because it comes from a place of stress, severe stress, actually. So,
but in reality, UVA rays, so the certain wavelength that does happen in the morning sun and even at dusk. So sun set.
This is still the brain fog from this time change in the spring.
It does actually activate autophagy. It does do a cleanup. It does do cellular repair. You will see benefits just from morning or sunrise, sunset, being outside. Like there is light frequency that does impact our body because of what it does from a circadian rhythm standpoint and how that helps us to produce the right hormones, how that helps us with our digestion. So when we're talking about cellular repair and getting the nutrients and the energy that we need to actually do that turnover, well, your digestion needs to be working pretty well.
Yeah.
And your circadian rhythm and your light exposure is deeply connected to that. Right. So there's a lot with light exposure and stem cell activation, cellular repair, etc.
Right. So, it's why those harnessing the different wavelengths of light, like with red light, UVA, what's the one I'm missing? Infrared.
Yeah. Infrared.
So it's like we understand a lot about harnessing that and understand what it does in the body, because what you're doing is replicating nature.
Yes.
It does help in a lot of situations for a lot of different reasons.
Especially if for whatever reason, because of your routine or where you live,
right. or you're a night worker, or you're a massage therapist and you spend all day in the dark.
We are trying to replicate nature,
correct.
But you also have access to nature. So if it's within your ability to utilize that, you can get the same benefits.
Because nature's better and cheaper.
And then the big one that I talk about all the time, and it's very popular, but collagen, but not collagen, crappy product collagen, but collagen from real food. Mm-hmm. So collagen that you're going to get from your bone broth, from your gelatin, these very natural sources of collagen. And like you said, when you reach a certain age, yes, that production does slow down. So making sure there's a daily intake of collagen, that is like a number one staple for me, but not from a gross powder.
No,
that's more like get your
gelatin.
Get a grass-fed gelatin, make bone broth, or friggin' buy it from Costco. I don't care, but getting that that natural
difference.
source of collagen is and can be very supportive for tissue repair, for skin, for hair, nails, your digestive system, your gut. It can
Well,
heal,
you think
it can help heal
any place you have high skin turnover or high turnover, like your hair growth, your nail growth, your skin meaning outside skin and the inside skin that lines different things.
Barrier, that turnover is really quick.
Yeah,
just like everything else.
Yes. So those are, I think those are a couple of like real.
And I have the best gelatin in the world. And I will link it for you guys and give you a little bit of a discount. But it's highly, highly recommended. I'll also link the recipe to how to use it. Because my gelatin gummies are my favorite thing in the whole world.
I love that. I've incorporated that as well, finally.
The easiest thing it's literally making Jell-O, but you just eat it every day, and it's great and easy, and the kids love it. It's the whole thing.
Good for everybody.
Yeah. And then a couple of other things too, just on a side note, but eating, high antioxidant foods, things that do lower inflammation in the body. So reducing oxidative stress.
Well, that's
really
the
important.
antioxidant. That's antioxidant's job, and so and when you have a lot of oxidative stress, you have a lot of inflammation that accompanies that stress. And that's actually free radical damage. That whole process. I mean, that is a lot of the beginnings of illness that happen. So yeah.
And when we're talking antioxidant foods, a really good rule of thumb for antioxidants. It's a very popular word. Yeah, it's just color. Dark colors are great too, like dark berries, dark leafy greens, things that are like dark in nature. Beets. Like think about like those very dark, rich colors. Purple sweet potatoes.
Yes.
Or normal sweet potatoes too. Are also
they're color too.
Or
buy the colorful cauliflower. You'll get a little bit more. So just those kinds of thinking about those things.
That's the kind of rule of thumb, if you will, to make just because something claims on the package is high in antioxidants, we can be eating the real food. And then vitamin C and zinc are also really important. Vitamin C is going to help that collagen support, that cellular repair.
And another major antioxidant.
Antioxidant. And if for whatever reason you struggle with getting enough vitamin C, it's not hard. And if we all just put fruit juice back in our diet and drank some orange juice, you're gonna get a bunch of vitamins.
The thing, everybody got so afraid of juice.
Orange juice because of sugar, and it's dumb. It's like just drink it with a meal.
Make sure you're eating it with protein, and that the sugar spike that everyone has scared us about for the last 20 years that won't happen.
Yeah. But anyway, so vitamin C, zinc, all really helpful. And then also a big one that everyone talks about, but also no one talks about is the type of movement that you do. So when we're talking about activating stem cells or mitochondrial support or energy, or increasing all of these things, guess what works better than anything else? Strength training.
I was going to say, especially testosterone, which is the one thing that they said that their product did.
Lift some freaking weights. Yeah. Doesn't even, or your own body weight. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to increase the production of these things tenfold. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy, actually, I think, how little we actually need to reap the benefits.
Well, I was going to say, I've been doing chair body weight exercises.
Yeah.
Because I never lifted. I've tried lifting weights. I did CrossFit for a minute. I always wanted to die. So
a lot.
I know. Well, it was a lot. But anyway, but just using body weights and some bands, and it's like you actually do.
Well,
you're engaging the muscles in the same way.
Yeah. And when we're talking about these types of benefits from like activating stem cells and mitochondrial support and energy and hormones and testosterone, you don't need that much. 15-20 minutes 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Now, if we're talking about literally putting on, like, if you want to really gain muscle and look a certain way and there's an aesthetic you're going for, then we got to talk about different strategies. All great goals. And we do want to eventually be putting on more lean muscle. that takes so much time.
Right.
And that's why it's a lifestyle thing, because it takes years and years and years to put on a very small amount of muscle. But nobody wants to talk about that either. But strength training is one of the best things that you can do along with sleep. And
I'm going to say, don't forget sleep. Sleep is such a big thing.
We're so boring.
I
We're
know.
like, eat berries, lift some weights, and go
get
to
some
bed.
sleep.
And it's like, but no one's doing those things, and we just did them.
I think they're the hardest.
You want to pay $100 for a fancy sticker?
No, what you want to do is pay $100 so that I don't have to think about what I'm eating. I don't have to lift weights, and my sleep is crap, but I've got my patch on, so I don't have to worry about it. We are instant gratification beings, and so we would much rather shell out a little bit of money so that I don't have to put a lot of effort in, which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but also until cooking becomes fun and lifting weights makes you feel happy, and going to bed early is actually something that you protect because you feel really good. Like, that's when it changes.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
This is actually adding to my life and giving my life value,
right,
versus just something else that I have to do. And part of the problem is that people make it so rigid and unfun and so many rules to follow.
Right. And no, it's very true.
And in reality, it's like, actually, how do we figure out a lifestyle that is fun, that's incorporating all these things, but in a way that, like, you're actually interested in doing, right. And getting those same benefits. Yeah. But I know it's so boring and it's not anything anybody wants to hear. But at the end of the day, if you want to try one, you're like, I love crystals, and you want to try one, sure.
Yep.
Not like telling you not to, and there may be a great placebo effect
for you.
Mm-hmm. To each their own.
But just know too, I just want to say one more thing about these patches. It's not a one and done. Yeah. You put it on, you wear it. You can use it up to 3 times, but they don't really stick. Past that time, I did get some freebies to try.
Well, what did you think then? You didn't say that. No. Nothing happened.
No.
But also, you're like, okay, it's not a one and done thing. But if they're not doing anything anyways, who cares? You can wear the same patch for.
No, but what I'm saying is that you have to keep buying them. You can't. It's not. I'm going to pay $99. No, we didn't make that clear. You're going to be buying them every month in order to get the benefit, because they don't last forever, right? So you got to keep buying, and then they come out. Like, I think LifeWave now has 5 or 6 products. If this works so well, why do I need different products?
And what's the change in the crystal?
In the nanocrystals. Oh my goodness. It's so funny.
It should just be like, that would be more believable. It's just like one thing you go all in on.
I know. It's like, if it's going to make stem cells, then what else do I need?
What is the switch?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
anyway.
Wow. Well,
but yeah, but really, like, healthy skeptics. This one, I think the truth is in the nature and light, and how light affects us, and why our circadian rhythm is important, and all of those kinds of things. I don't think that we found the thread of truth in the actual product. Typically we have product, and we can find there's something in there that makes, a little bit of sense. This one is completely woo-woo, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And so and you will encounter people. You would probably encounter people that are into it.
Angry at us for saying what we're saying.
I know, but that's okay.
But what was the thing? What was the claim? If the horses, what did they say? It was so funny. If the horses
don't lie, or what?
Horses don't lie.
Horses don't lie.
I think it's just that.
Yeah.
It's just horses don't lie.
Horses don't lie. Yeah.
Which. Okay.
Wow, that's a slogan. But they are very good at selling their products. So, kudos to them. But we would not be. All I would say is just do your own research.
Yeah.
Listen. They have, like I said, almost 3 years worth
Watch
of
the
material.
horse videos.
Watch the horse videos.
If anyone is listening to this and knows animal pressure points, or just that type of,
oh yeah,
it would be so cool to. I'll send you the videos, or we'll do a part 2 and bring you on.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
But all right.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks
for joining
listening.
us. We'll see you next time. And please don't forget to subscribe, if you're enjoying the content.
Yeah.
Give us a 5-star
Even if you're not,
review.
just give us a 5-star review.
You can even comment. At least it's activity on the podcast. No. Yes, just send us whatever review or comments or
ideas for future podcasts.
DMs are always open. So
thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.